using substitution elimination, but now we're going to take it and apply it to some word problems. Everybody good on that? Okay, so on number 1, well, this is a review of a type of problem we've already looked at. It's just a very basic problem. Now, there was a test question on this. Some of you did well on that, and some of us didn't do so well. Some of us just left it blank, all right? So those word problems, though, we're going to have to get down because now your next test is going to be pretty much all word problems. It's just going to be like 5 questions of words. And you've got to be able to set up the equation, define variables, solve it using substitution or elimination. Whatever way it's kind of set up the best to, if it can go either direction, then it's whatever you're good at, okay? And then you're going to write a sentence explaining what that answer means now, okay? So we're going to look at number 1, which was a very basic problem that we started looking at before our test, okay? So it says the sum of 2 numbers is 62. Now, when you hit the word and, comma, or a period, those 3 things are pretty much kind of telling you that's usually going to be a split. Here's one equation, here's the other equation. Okay, so you are looking for sentences, you're looking for commas, or the word separated by an and. 2 big ideas separated by an and. Okay? So when I look at this guy right here, and it says the sum of 2 numbers is 62, what are you going to write there?
X plus y equals 62.
Good, Kevin. X plus y equals 62. Sum means plus, right? Their difference is 8. What do we write there?
X minus y equals 8.
Good, Caitlin. X minus y equals 8. Okay, so now with that being said, we still have to define our variables. In this case, definition of variable is going to be very generic. We're just going to call x the first number and y the second number. Okay, because that's all we know is that we have 2 numbers we don't know. Okay, so defining our variables, x is going to equal first number, and y is going to equal the second number. Okay, so there's first 2 steps. Define a variable, write a systems of equations, which means 2. Step 3 now, we're going to solve. Caitlin? Do you have a question?
Oh, you cross out the y's.
Okay, good. So in this case, you could do substitution, but you'd have to move a variable over. In this case, it's set up for elimination. It's set up right or wrong. Okay? A plus y and a minus y are going to cancel out, right? Okay, so when I take these and cancel these out, x plus x is
2x.
62 plus 8.
70.
So what does x equal?
35.
35. All right, Ben, you got a question back there?
No.
Okay, so now what are we going to do? Raise your hand, please. What are we going to do now to find the y value? Evan? Which one are you going to plug it into?
The top one.
Okay. So I'm going to take 35 plus y equals 62. All right. Quentin, what are we going to do now to solve this? Good. Anybody know 62?
27.
What do you get? 37. Okay, so now there's the first 3 steps. Define variables, write a systems of equations, solve it, get your 2 answers, and the last step, write a sentence. Now again, in this case, it's going to be a very generic sentence. The first number is, or you could actually say the numbers are, $35 and $27. Okay? So we're not going to be very concerned about writing coordinate points for the word problems. Okay? Now, on a test, this is going to be 6 points. It's going to be 1 point to define the variables, 1 point for each equation, 1 point to give me a sentence, and then 2 points to show how you solved it in your work. Okay? So it's going to be a 6-point problem on a test or a quiz. Okay? All right, so now let's take a look at number 2. At number 2, we're going to start incorporating some shapes. In this case, we're just going to incorporate a rectangle. Again, look for periods, commas, and ands, okay, to help separate your 2 main ideas. If the length of the rectangle is twice the width, notice we have a comma here, okay? So this guy right here is 1 idea. That's 1 equation, okay? And perimeter is 30. Okay, perimeter rectangle is 30. That's your second idea. So we have to take these 2 ideas and come up with 2 equations. Okay? All right, what is the length and width of the rectangle? So let's start with the first step, define our variables. So how are we going to define variables here? What are we looking for? Okay, I'm going to use L and W. So L will be length and W will be width. Okay. First highlighted part here. Length of the rectangle is twice the width.
L plus 2W.
Not quite.
X equals to R, L equals 2W.
L equals 2W, okay? So if I look here, length is equal, right? So L equals 2W, all right? So L equals 2W. Okay, now, we talked about this summer, perimeter. What's perimeter mean?
The distance
Distance around, and we do what, James? Okay, we're just adding up all the sides, right? Okay, so I drew up here on the board, this would be a length, width, and width, right? So when we're adding up all the sides, we're adding up 2 lengths, adding up 2 widths, and that should give us our perimeter, okay? This is a formula you should know, all right? So if you don't know this, write this down somewhere. Okay, so perimeter will always be, perimeter equals 2 lengths and 2 widths. All right, that is something you should know. I'm telling you right now, got to know this guy. Okay. All right. So now, when I say that the perimeter equals 30, what's my equation probably going to be there? Raise your hand if you think you know. So if my perimeter is 30, what's my equation going to look like there? Kevin.
2L plus 2W equals 30.
Okay. So 2L plus 2W equals 30. Very good. Okay, so Ellie says in this case we need to use substitution. Why did you pick substitution, Ellie?
Because the R gives you
Yeah, it's already L equals. All right, so I'm no longer dictating what you do. You have to know how to solve it, okay? So this guy right here, the 2W, will have to go in for the L, right? L equals 2W. So I have 2. Instead of length, I have 2 widths. And then plus 2W equals 30. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, so Manuel, how are we going to solve this?
2W times 2,
Yeah, okay, what do you get there?
4W.
Good, so we have 4W plus 2W equals 30. Okay, Malcolm, what are we going to do next?
Combine like that.
Okay, what do you get?
3W. I
Huh?
mean 6W.
6W, okay. Equals 30. Chloe, last step.
Divide by 6.
And get,
5.
very good. So my width is 5. So Diana, what am I going to do now?
Plug it back into L equals 2W.
Yeah, that's the one I would go. I would plug it right there. Okay, so L equals 2 times 5, or I just heard Emmanuel say 10, and he's right. Okay? All right, so now, with that being said, last step, write a sentence. So what's our sentence going to look like? So raise your hand if you think you know.